All right, guys, welcome to the team call. I'm so excited. We have an awesome guest speaker tonight, and I will introduce her in just a second. Real quick, if you have not signed up for our business bet, I think we're down the wire, so hit up Kristen and get in it. This is going to be awesome. It's a great way to kick off June, which is going to be just an awesome month going into Summit, and anybody having momentum going into Summit is for sure going to just propel forward after Summit. So make sure you get in that health bet with Kristen or business bet or whatever. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. So be sure to do that. If anybody during business bet needs a challenge group to invite people to check your upline diamond, and they will have something for you to invite them to so that you don't have to create a new one right away. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and turn this over to Alexis ADOSS. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's famous for coining the ADOSS method in recruiting. But I mean, seriously, we hear about it all the time. If you've listened to anything by Josh Coates, you've heard of Alexis ADOSS. She's a 3-star diamond, but 6-star combined, with all the stars everywhere. 6-figure earner. She's been a coach since 2013, and she's successful at All-Star for 30 months. Okay, so I know we all are like, we're running out of people to invite, but it's not true. There's always people to invite. There's always people that need our help. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Alexis. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on the call. So tonight I'm going to kind of be going over, the ADOSS formula and tying everything together because I hate calling it the ADOSS formula. It feels so strange.
Wait, can you tell us how that got coined, though? Like, how'd you become so famous?
Well, I started working with Josh Coates a little over a year ago. And as we worked together, I basically kind of started telling him what I do to find people. And I was like, this is my formula. And, he just called me by my last name. And then he, I guess, wanted to call the formula the ADOSS formula. So Josh Coates totally brought it, made it. And then he just was like, okay, well, you do this thing. It seems to work really well for you. You teach your team it. Can you just can I use it for my trainings? And I was like, sure. So we just did an updated one, I guess. So I've done this presentation a bunch of times. So each time I share it, there's always new little things that I've done that I kind of have helped me. So that's kind of how that happened. But he just called it that. I would never name it after myself. That would be so awful. But now I don't know what else to call it. So it's just easy to call it that. So I'm just like, I swear, guys, I'm not this super pompous person. It's the ADOSS formula. I'm embarrassed when he says it, but
we love it.
Anyway, but so I have some slides I'm going to share with you guys. I'm a big visual learner, so I like to teach that way. Hopefully that'll help with you. And I'm going to just kind of go over the ADOSS formula can be used for, should be building your contact list every week. We're going to talk about that, but it can be used for finding challengers, for finding coaches. I'm at the point in my business where I'm more so looking for coaches. I still used to look for challengers. I still treat my business now like I did when I was still a brand new coach. I know what I'm doing more now than I did when I first was a coach. I've been coaching for about 4.5 years, I guess, I think. Yeah. So I've kind of figured this out, but my number one tip before I go into this, and I always say it no matter what I'm speaking on a team call about, is that you can learn this and everybody's going to be like, this is what I needed, or this is so awesome, this is great. And then 80% of you will leave this call and they will all of everything you wrote down will just become notes on a piece of paper and you won't do it. So you have to be that 20%. I don't say that to, basically I'm calling people out, but I want to call you out so we can increase the number of people that do it. Because so many people see these team calls or they get inspired or they learn something, but then they don't go out and implement. So even if you don't go do this exactly, if you take something from it, go out and try to implement it right away. And I also have some stuff I can share with Brooke that I usually always offer to share. I'm always about sharing is caring. I'm not one of the coaches that hides stuff. I know some coaches are like, you can't know what I'm doing, it's secret. But I'm like, I don't know. I just share everything. So I actually have, with this presentation, I'm very big on Google Streak. So I know some people use Asana and Teamsy, but I do have a 2-hour webinar that I did on Google Streak, and it kind of plays into the ADOSS formula because I use this whole thing with it, but we'll get into that. So before I keep blabbing on, so I'm going to share my screen with y'all, and hopefully everybody can see this. Okay. So let's go into this. Let me make sure I plug in my computer so it doesn't explode and die on me. Okay, so we're going to talk about building relationships, contact lists, and recruiting using Instagram. Okay, so number one tip I call, and I'm going to go over what I'm talking about on this slide because you're probably like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means, but I call it my fifth behavior for my team. Obviously we have the 3 vital behaviors and we just got the 4th one, which is recognition, but the 5th vital behavior I say is to build a contact list each week. So many coaches, especially new coaches, go into their business and they sit down, and when they have their little bit of time to work their business and they're like, I don't know who I'm going to message. This person liked my Facebook picture and this person commented on my Instagram, so I'll just message them today. And there's no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of winging it. And I've found if I get my coaches to build a contact list, a new contact list every week, whatever it may be. I mean, I know this is a lot focusing on Instagram, but it can be Facebook groups. It can be people that you know. I like to always add a few people from my friends list, whatever, on there. But most of the people I do are Instagram. But if you build a contact list every week of minimum 10 people, I usually do anywhere from 15 to 30, but I have some coaches that do 40 to 60. I wouldn't suggest doing more than 60. You're going to overwhelm yourself, but minimum 10, because in theory, if you've read the book Go for No, for every 10 people you talk to, you're going to hear 9 no's, you're going to get 1 yes. So in theory, if you talk to 10 people a week, that gives you 40 people to talk to in a month. To hit Success Club, you would need to talk to at least 30 people. So in theory, that gives you what you need. So minimum 10, but I say aim for anywhere from like 15 to 20. But there are lots of ways you can build your contact list. Obviously, going through hashtags is a main way that a lot of people find. I have lots of little nuggets and tips that I like to give. My little random nugget tip that I have in terms of looking through hashtags: don't look through clean eating. Don't look through fitness. Look through specific things that are specific to you. If you're a yoga mom, look through yoga mom. Look through mom of twins. Like, look through things that are specific to you. And then for me, what I find is easy to just find people. It's really weird, but is to do food items that you like, but like brands. So like going through the Lara Bar hashtag, RX Bar, Vitamix. I always like to go through hashtags of things that are a little bit more pricey. Not that I'm looking for people who have money, but in a way, yes. But you're looking at it, I swear I'm not a scumbag. If somebody's going to spend money on a $500 blender, a Vitamix blender, or they're going to spend money on a $100 pair of Lululemon leggings, they're probably going to spend $160 on a challenge pack. So I like to look through, if you know like some brand that you get, like maybe you like some kind of juice that's like $8 a bottle or something. Like, I know there's a place in Philly called Sip and Glow, and the juices are like $11. So I'll go to that location and look for people that are sharing stuff, because I'm like, if they can spend $11 on a juice, they're gonna have a hard time arguing with me against $160. Like, I saw you at Sip and Glow, I saw you. But so those are kind of how I go through hashtags. But what I want to share with you is my little way I teach my team. But I actually have this thing that shares on my phone screen with you. So I want to do that really quick. If anybody's wondering what it is, it's just called Mirroring 360. It's like $14, but then you have it, I think, for like a year or something like that. Okay, MacBook Pro. So this is how I find my people. And this is mainly how I find all my coaches. So and then we're going to talk about the process of what we do, but it's building the contact list of people who you're going to reach out to. So when you have your page, your search page, so this, suggest things you may like, videos you may like. Okay, cool, Mac, give me that. Okay. So when you have, this page, it's suggested things that you may like. So if you're health and fitness Instagram, for the most part, you're going to have a lot. Now, because I've had some new coaches say, I don't know why this is frozen. Hold on. Let me close that. All right. Okay, there we go. It's probably going to close now. We'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. It's going to be great. So if you're a new coach and you haven't really started liking health and fitness stuff, because all you have to do to get health and fitness stuff on your thing is to like it. So for me, I see lots of health and fitness stuff and lots of stuff about bulldogs, because that's all I like and I pay attention to. So if you haven't seen any, guaranteed, if you just go like 100 pictures of like food and fitness stuff, tomorrow you're going to wake up with a bunch of that stuff in there. Because if I just look at a picture of a French bulldog and I like a bunch of them, tomorrow all I see are French bulldog videos. So in the search page, so what I do when I'm building my contact list, I'm sitting down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to write 30 people. I go to this search page and then I look for a picture. Can I close out of this? Hold on. We're going to do this really quick. because I can't show you guys without this. We're going through technical difficulties. It's just like,
It's all good.
I'm used to my computer just like freaking out, which is, yeah, I know you're not responding. Okay, so no, we're gonna force quit. Okay, just bear with me. All right. Okay. Let's try this again. I promise you're going to be like, this is good. I'm glad I waited for her to do this for an hour to teach me, because it makes sense. It's how I find all my people. So, okay. So search page. Now I look for a picture that looks like it's like a health and fitness picture that I know is going to have like a ton of likes. I'm not looking to recruit this person. I'm just looking to check the likes on their page. So I'm scrolling, but it's not showing it, but I want to find a picture. So I'm seeing all unhealthy pictures right now. Okay, here's dragon fruit. This is perfect. This picture has 19,000 likes. This is a little slow, but we're going to get there. So I clicked on a picture there. There it is. It's coming. It's coming. Okay, so as you can see, 19,000 likes. This is a perfect opportunity. All you have to do is click on the likes, and then for some reason, I don't know why, because just like it's going to show you pictures that you like on your suggested page, for some reason, the first 15 to 30 people in the likes of one of those pictures are all health and fitness people. So it's not in order of the most recent person that liked it. It's just showing me all these people that are all health and fitness people. I don't know why. It's strange, but that's what it does. So what I do is I go follow. Wait, no. I go follow. Well, I know how to actually follow. And I just follow like the first 10 to 30 people. And I only do that once a week. So I do that once a week. I just follow all of them because they're all health and fitness people for the most part. So then what I do is I make my contact list every Sunday. So I tell my team to do the same. Before the week starts, build your contact list, put your 15, 30 people, 10 people, whatever you're going to do. And then in the week, you're all good to go. So what I do is once I do that, because I've followed my 30 people, and then on Sunday, and you can do that anytime in the week. You just want to do it before Sunday. I usually do it like if I make my contact list Sunday, I follow all my new people like on Monday or whatever. And you only have to do it once because you don't want to follow like 500 people, because then when you go to do this next process I'm going to talk about, it's going to take forever. So then what I do is I go to my page on my desktop. So I go to my Instagram on my desktop. I click following because I'm not worried about the people that followed me back. Because everybody always asks that. Are you just checking on the people that followed you back? No, it's just the people that I followed. So I click following. And then I scroll down to the last person I left off on. So you can write it down in your notebook. I use Trello. It's just like a to-do list thing. And I write down, like, let's say the last time I was making my list, I left off at this girl. So on my Trello, it'll say left off on Helena, so that I know everybody above her are all my new people that I followed. I hope that makes sense. So then what I do is I just open each person's thing in a new tab, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to check each of their pages, make sure 1, they're not already Beachbody coach, 2, they're actually in health and fitness, and 3, make sure they're not in a different country. So what I do is I check each person's thing. So then from there, this will load. I think this person. So right away, this girl's from Germany. Wouldn't follow her. So I just unfollow because I don't want my following number to be really high. This is how because everybody always asks, like, how do you weed people out? But I do this process each week and it weeds everybody out. So I hit unfollow. What? I think somebody. Okay, there we go. Sorry, all I could do was hear myself. Okay, so then this girl looks perfect. She's vegan, plant-based. She's got 1,000 followers. She's posting food. Now I do have a suggestion. If you ever find somebody who just has just food pictures, sometimes they're not as likely to, I think, long-term, are they going to be a coach? Are they going to want to share their face? Are they going to want to be vulnerable? So I occasionally will put these people on my contact list, but I try not to have an entire page full of just people sharing their food, because I found after doing this for a while that a lot of times they just don't want to be a coach. I don't know. They don't want to share other stuff like their fitness and whatnot, or just that. Sometimes they don't even share their face. But I might write her name down. So what I do is I write her name down, or I actually put it in Trello. So it's like my little to-do list thing. So I just type the name instead of writing it. So then I have her, and then I keep following her. So then I close out. So then I look, okay, so this girl's only 19. So for me, I try to look for people who are over, so I will unfollow, not looking for people that are not my age range. So whatever you're looking for is what you want to do. So this is a guy, it doesn't look like he just, sometimes you're going to follow people that are like that. I'm not going to be my person, unfollow, blah, blah, blah. So then I do that until I have my 15 to 30 people. But because you're always doing the suggested page and you just want to find a picture that has a lot of likes, because if you find a picture that only has 3 likes, you're not going to be able to work from a big list. But for some reason, I guess I hacked Instagram. The first 15 to 30 people that like those posts are always health and fitness, because we are health and fitness people. So if you don't have those people yet, it's just probably because you're a new coach and you haven't liked enough health and fitness pictures. But you should be, in order to grow your Instagram, liking anywhere from 250 to 50 pictures a day. It takes 5 minutes to do that. You pick 5 hashtags, 1 hashtag, or 100 pictures for each hashtag, and it takes a minute. I've done it before. A minute to 2 minutes to like 100 pictures in each hashtag. That helps increase your following. It helps you get more health and fitness stuff in your suggested page so you can work from that. So that's just like my little thing of how I find people. So I build that contact list, and then from there, I start doing the ADOSS formula. I'm going to talk about that. But before I get into the rest of it, you cannot do this process that I'm going to teach you if you're not tracking your people. For the first 1.5 years of my business, all I did was this and this. Pen and paper are not, you cannot be a super successful coach, be a 6-figure earner, be, all that stuff, if you're working from pen and paper. Now, there probably are some exceptions to the rule, but once I started really taking the tracking part of this seriously, I went from struggling to hit Success Club 5 to I hit Success Club 20 every month without fail. And I don't even feel like I'm trying. I feel like I'm working a lot less harder than I was in the past. So whether I use Google Streak, but whether you use Asana or Teamsy, you have to have something that's going to set reminders, because that's the whole thing about this process, is setting reminders so you can check in with these people. We're going to talk about it. So if you're pen and paper, I'm not making fun of you. Again, I did that way for the longest time, but you have to eventually build up, tell your ego to shut up, and just go and start tracking. You have to. I'm telling you, everybody's always like, but it takes so long to put all my people in the Streak or in Teamsy and do all of this. Yes, it does take a while, but it's a project you have to take on if you're going to take your business seriously. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a job, it's going to pay you like a job. So if you take this seriously, you will see the benefits. And we have to put in a little bit of work now, and you're going to end up being less stressed, because number one reason why people don't want to do their business is because they feel overwhelmed and they feel stressed. If you take the time to set this up, you're going to feel less stress and overwhelmed, and you're going to be like, I want to work this business. This is enjoyable again. Okay. Number 1 step, you have your list of your, let's say 15 people. You're going to send them all an initial message, and it's not trying to sell anything. You're just being like flattery city. Hey, you're the bomb. So for example, I change mine up often, so it's not always the same message, but I do like to send the same message to the group of people. I'm not changing it for each single person. You can if you want to. It's not that I'm being fake. I'm going to continue the conversation after that, but I just want to, it's like a guy sitting at a bar and he wants to talk to a girl, but he doesn't really know what to say. So he asks her what time it is. It's like, I just kind of want to start the conversation, but I don't want to, I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? So you're going to send a direct message on Instagram to all of these people. If you don't know how, this is just how. It's just a little box right here, hit the plus sign, hit send message, type their name, and then I just copy paste and send it to each person. So the message is just basically like, hey, oh my God. And you want to make sure, because a lot of people use this, and I've seen people literally take my message word for word, and I've sent my message to someone else and they said, hey, I just got this message from somebody else. And I'm like, and sometimes I've seen it and it's not been from somebody from my team. And I'm like, So Josh really instills it when he teaches this in the group, that you don't do that. Please don't do that, because I will come find you. I will love you, but I won't be happy. But it's just like, hey, like for me, the way I talk, I'm like, dude, your page is so dope. Like I started my Instagram by just finding people through hashtags as motivation, and your page is awesome. Like I love what you're doing. Like keep it up. You're just doing a great job. And then from there, you form them. Just get to know them and have a real conversation. So what I do, usually they'll respond and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This made my day. That was so awesome. So then what I do is I just try to continue the conversation by asking them something based off something they posted on their page. So what I mean by that is, so they say, thank you so much. I appreciate, the love. I just started my Instagram, or I've been doing this for a while. I love it. And then I'm like, yeah, like you've been doing a great job. I love spreading positivity, of course. By the way, where did you get those leggings? They're so cute. Oh my God. Or I've been wanting to try that cold brew. How is it? Or you live in Boston. It's so pretty there. Have you always lived there? Asking a question to get a response, because I just want to basically become friends with this person. I want to get to know them. I want to build a relationship with them. If they don't respond, that's always the question they get. All I do is I comment on one of their pictures and just say, hey, just sent you a direct message on here. Not sure if you saw it. Either way, your page is awesome. Because a lot of times, if you send 30 messages, you're maybe going to get 10 back. Because people are like, I started your ADOSS formula and I messaged people and I got like 3 people to respond to me. It's just because, don't take it personally. You can't take anything in this business personally. Number one, a lot of times it's because people don't even know you can direct message on Instagram. 2, if they do, they forgot to check it, or it's a message request and they can't see it. So like 9 times out of 10, when I comment on somebody's picture, they're like, oh, I didn't even know it was in there. Let me go check. All the time I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for letting me know you commented on my page. I didn't even notice. Thank you so much. And then from there, just again, it's kind of like that chain where it's like, how to be vegan. It's like, did you eat this? It's like, no, yes, go to this thing, go to this thing. So it's like just following that same process. It's like, okay, did they respond? Respond with something from their page. Did they not respond? Comment on the picture. Then go continue the conversation. So that's what I do. And what I do with this is I use Google Streak because I set a reminder. So once I have my 30 people, I send them all a message. And then I put them into Google Streak or whatever tracking system you have. I put their name, and then I put how many followers they have, how I found them, like usually just whatever in their bio. So it's like, it's Sarah, 21, vegan, lives in LA. So I'll put, she's 21, vegan, has 2,000 followers from LA, just so I know some stuff about them. That's why I love the tracking system, because so many of you guys are putting people on a piece of pen and paper, but you have no way of remembering if they said that they have a wedding coming up in 6 months. Like I do that all the time, where I can put people in Google Streak, and because you can set reminders, I'll put them in Streak, and they'll tell me that they want to join a group, but they are going away to Europe for 3 months, but they want to do it when they come back. So instead of me putting their name on a piece of paper and never remembering to message them back, like, let's be real, I just put them in Streak, set a reminder and say in 3 months, check in, or I'll even do halfway through and send them a message in a month and a half and say, hey, how's your trip to Europe? Oh yeah, because I'm awesome and I remember that stuff, and it goes a long way. But with, I'll set a reminder, and then, 3 months from then, and just be like, hey, I know you said you were coming back from Europe. How was your trip? Do you still want to be in my group? So using Google Streak is good. But so what I do, and again, like I said, I actually have a webinar. I have one 26-minute webinar that kind of goes along with this exactly. And then for people who don't have Streak set up at all but want to, I have a 2-hour webinar. The reason why it's 2 hours is because the main reason people don't start Streak is because they just don't have the accountability to get it done. So on the call, I go through step by step, and I give you, because I did it with my team, I'm like, okay, set a timer, 10 minutes, set this up. So by the time the webinar is done, you have Google Streak set up. There's a little things you have to do after in terms of like homework, but for the most part, you have it all set up. So I can send that to Brooke if you want both of those videos. So, okay, moving on. So step 3, what you want to do is build a relationship with this person. So let's say you sent the first message, you put them in a Streak, you set a reminder, and I always set a reminder, let me go back. I always set a reminder 2 days from the day I messaged them. So if I message them all on Monday, I'm going to set a reminder to check in with them 2 days later. So I get an email in my updates folder that says, check in with Sarah, check in with Jessica. So I check in with them, and then I do this process right here, either responding or commenting on a picture. And then again, set a reminder every 2 days to check in with these people. And I'm building relationships with all these people each week. So then I usually try to do the process of just commenting, and then I love Instagram stories now, because you can comment on their Instagram story the same way you would a Snapchat, but it sends them a message. So it's kind of a little bit more personable than just commenting on a picture, because some people are getting 20 comments on their picture and they're not responding to everybody. But if I comment on their Instagram story, they're going to get it sent as a message. So I'm constantly, literally my main way of having conversations with people is Instagram story. If they don't have an Instagram story, then I just comment on a picture. But I'm just trying to become like, Instagram friends with them. And then eventually after 2 to 3 weeks of just doing that, sometimes I can just do it after like a week or so, I just send them a random message that says, hey, by the way, do you have a Facebook or a Snapchat? Like I would love to stay connected with somebody like you. I love positivity. I believe if you surround yourself with positivity, that's what you'll get back. And almost every time, unless they don't have a Facebook, we'll talk about that, but they're like, oh my gosh, I so agree with that. Like surround yourself with positive people. Yeah, here's my Facebook. Sometimes people are like, I don't have a Facebook. So then I just still build the relationship on Instagram for another week or so. And then move to the next part. But sometimes they don't have that, and it's totally okay. Sometimes they're not going to respond to you. It's totally fine. I even end it with totally not trying to be a creep, but that's just how I talk. And they're like, no, you're totally not being a creep. Don't worry about it, because I want to move them over to Facebook. And this is the step that people skip because they get lazy and they get impatient. Everybody moves on to the next step 4 that I'm going to talk about, because they don't want to move to Facebook because they just want to hang out on Instagram and send the invite. But everybody, all other Beachbody coaches, and Brooke said something about we're running out of people to message. Number one, no, we're not. There's 578 million people in North America, and there's 450,000 Beachbody coaches, which means there's 200,000 people probably actually working the business, maybe not even that. So out of your 100,000 Beachbody coaches that you're competing with, there's 578 million people in North America, and we're about to open up a UK market. Don't tell me. Sorry, I get excited. Okay. But everybody wants to invite on Instagram, but it works. Everybody else is inviting on Instagram. And when you invite on Instagram, you can still do it. You just have to spend a little bit more time like maturing the relationship. So it's okay if you have to, but you always want to try to move to Facebook. I move as many people as I can over to Facebook, because when you invite someone on Instagram, everybody's doing it. But when you have somebody's Facebook, it's like having their phone number. It's a lot more personable, and you can build a relationship. So when you send that invite or send a coach invite, you just like, hey dude, like we're Facebook friends. Like we're totally like BFFs, and it doesn't feel as strange. Okay. Next step. Step 4 is to just get to know them more, get over the fear, and invite. So I usually like, build relationships with new people on my contact list, do it for 2 to 3 weeks. And then like in the 4th week, I send the invite. And I find it easy because I follow the same schedule every month. The first week of the month is nothing. The second week of the month is my clean eating group. The third week of the month on the Thursday is my coach sneak peek with my team. And then the 4th week of the month is a challenge group. So I do this process, and this process is a late gratification process, just like this business is a late gratification business. You start this process, you're not going to reap the full benefits until 2 to 3 months in, because you have to build your contact list, build the relationship, and then I always like all the people who I'm building a relationship with now are going to get an invite to my July challenge group, clean eating group. So all my people who I built relationships with in May are all on the 7th, because I always invite. I don't invite every day. A lot of people like send 10 invites a day, which is fine. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I send bulk invites. So I honestly really only invite 2 times a month, but I send like 60 invites in that day. I'm going to talk about that. But so I will invite everybody on the Wednesday before my clean eating group starts. So it starts on the 12th, June 12th. So on Wednesday, the 7th, I'll send everyone who I built a relationship with back in May a clean eating group invite. The reason why I'm sending a clean eating group invite is because I know everybody does their business differently, but I, for the most part, do not invite anyone to anything unless I'm inviting them to coaching. But I don't invite anybody to a challenge group until they're in one of my clean eating groups first, or until they at least get a clean eating group invite to me. Everybody is always like, I want to invite you to a challenge group, but I don't know what to do. It's so easy when you just build a relationship, move them over to Facebook, invite them to a clean eating group, and then go from there. So and everybody always asks, well, I'm building relationships, but how do you move the conversation over to health and fitness so I can invite them? You don't have to. Everybody wants health and fitness. If you build a relationship with them and you're friends with them and you know what their dog's name is and you like their pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, your dog's so cute. I love when people have dogs, because that's like how I connect with them every time. Every time my Google Street comes up and it's like, hey, check in with Jessica, I just go find their page and I'm like, oh, you posted a new picture of your dog. I love your dog. Oh my God, he's so cute. So I send them all a clean eating group invite all on that Wednesday. So no matter, you have to have somewhat of a conversation with them, but everybody I built a relationship with, all of them get the same invite. And it says, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested in this kind of thing, but I wanted to shoot you an invite to a 5-day free clean eating group. You're going to get a grocery list, meal plan, blah, 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 blah. So everybody gets an invite. I don't wait for them to bring up that they want to lose weight. Everybody does. So it's basically just like hey, I met you. I built a relationship with you. By the way, like, I don't know. I totally meant to mention this, but I don't know if you'd be interested. Like, would you? If not, no worries. That's all it is. So then it's easy, because once they're in the clean eating group, I check in with them on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, I send a voice message to every single one of them that just says, and it's so easy on Facebook Messenger, because once you record the voice message for one person, there's like a little button on the side of it that you can just forward it to each person. So I just go in my members of my clean eating group and I send it to one person, and then I just hit send forward to each person. I never have to resend it. And I literally can send 60 invites in a period of 2 minutes. So I send a voice message like, hey girl, thank you so much for being a part of my clean eating group. It was so fun. I love having it. I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to let you know, because I let all my clean eating challengers know first, that me and my team are going to be holding a group that's kind of like this, but it's way cooler. It's not even on Facebook. It's in this really cool app, so you don't have to worry about getting distracted. And we don't just work on health and fitness. We actually work on personal development. There's so much positivity. I personally have weekly themes. I give away prizes. Like, I don't know if you would want to do that if you enjoyed the clean eating group, but I would love to give you more information. If not, no problem. Hope you had an awesome time. And almost always people are like, well, yeah, I at least want more information. So then I give them information about the group, or I ask them a little bit more about them and all of that jazz. And then side note tip, a lot of you guys are getting no just for people to want more information on like the prices and stuff, because they're not responding, or they're ghosting you, because you're not making your what is a challenge group or what does a challenge group entail juicy enough. I work with this with my coaches all the time. I'm like, okay, well, when someone asks what a challenge group is, what do you say? And they're like, well, you're going to get a workout program and Shakeology, and it's really supportive, it's really fun, there's posts every day, and it's just going to be great. That is so plain Jane. My thing is so long. I'm like, okay, it's 4 weeks. You get 1 week of prep, 3 weeks of weekly themes. So I give a prep week video. You learn about how to eat clean at restaurants. You learn how to eat clean on the road in the beginning. And then once we start, I work on things from personal development. I used to struggle with confidence and in positivity. And we work on that so much in my group. So if you're one of those people, it's really going to help you with that. You're also going to learn some paleo recipes, some vegan recipes. You're going to get some killer accountability, because I know number one reason why people fail is because when they start a workout program or a nutrition guide, they do it by themselves. And I know that you're probably feeling that same way. So does that sound like something you'd be interested in? And they're like, yes, please. And that's, so you need to work on how juicy you're making your challenge group thing. So then from there, I give them the price, and then 95% of the time they say, can't afford it, or I can't do this or that. And then I follow up with them every month, each month, every month, till the end of time, until they say yes. Because everybody's like, okay. So then they're like, okay, I did all the stuff, but I went to send the invite and they were in my clean eating group. And then I went to invite them to my challenge group and they still said no. And I'm like, yeah, I get 100 no's. All of my 20 plus Success Club points every month are follow-ups. So rarely do I get all those people in my clean eating group to say yes. I probably get maybe 3 people from my clean. If I can average 30 to 50 people in my clean eating group, maybe 3 say yes to a challenge group. I'm like, buy something. But all the other people I follow up with, and then their yeses in July and September and December and February and June of next year. And I'm okay with that, because I'm in this business for the long haul. So you just have to know that if you invite and people say no, that's not the end of the road. The sale is in the follow-up. I hate saying sale, but it's what it is. So what else you can do is just, instead of skip the clean eating group and just do coach invites. So what I do with my contact list, I say, if you're a newer coach, do 60% of the people on your 70% of the people on your contact list are people who you're going to do the clean eating group invite to. The rest of the 30% or 20 or whatever you're doing is going to be straight coach invites. So you do the same process. You message them, you get to know them, build a relationship, but then you just hit them with the coach invite. And these are people, and again, that process I showed you of how to find people on Instagram, that literally gives me so many people to find, because they're already in health and fitness. I don't have to go and find them. It's just like a list of people I just get from doing this process. And then again, you don't have to wait for the right time to send the coach invite, especially if you've just seen them posting really positive stuff. I just send them a message that says, hey, can I ask you a question? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I just feel this vibe from you. I've been following your story for a while, which is dope. Again, don't steal this, because I can guarantee you 90% of you don't say dope. And I seriously think you would make an amazing coach. I would love to have you a part of my tribe. I've been building this good vibe tribe for 4 years, and I feel like you would fit right in. I know you're probably like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but seriously, I'd love to talk to you about it. If not, no problem, just wanted to reach out. And I get a lot of people that are at least more interested. Like I can't tell you how many times I send this message and people are like, I've been asked before, but I get a way different vibe from you. I kind of want more information because of, again, the way I word the invite. And because I built a relationship with them. I didn't just send them an invite out of nowhere and they're like, who are you? You know what I mean? So and with this, you usually want to wait minimum 3 weeks. But if they're just like killing it, just send them the invite. Send it on Facebook. If you have to, you can send it on Instagram, but make sure you have built that relationship. And last thing is just step 5 is implement. Get out there and do it. Whatever you do, whether you use Google Streak or whether you just take some bits and pieces of this process, you have to go out and do it. Please, whatever you thought was helpful, don't let it be notes on a piece of paper. That's so many times, like we're going to have Summit coming up. And so many of you guys are going to go for the first time. This is going to be my 4th year. And so many of you guys are going to go for the first time and you're going to be like, I'm so fired up. That was like exactly what I needed. Everybody says that. That's what I needed. And then you're fired up for 3 months and then you quit. Or you just let life happen again, because you're only motivated in your business by other people motivating you. You have to be your motivator. So whatever you learn at Summit, whatever you learn from anybody that you learn in this business, you have to go out and implement it right away. Like something I've learned, I don't know, some personal development person was when you do personal development, when you read personal development, or maybe you do a call, schedule time in your schedule to implement what you just learned. So what I do when I read personal development for leadership, like right now I'm reading the book Everybody Matters. It's really about, leadership and whatnot. And it just gave me the idea of, this whole thing about like rewarding, which I already do, but it was like this different idea about rewarding. And I was like, oh, I'm totally going to do that. So I planned when I planned my calendar, to message my PS coaches about something about this like little reward thing. And I made sure I implemented what I just learned because I didn't want to just listen to it and be like, that's a great idea. That would help my business. And then forget it in 2 days. You know what I mean? So, so that's about it. I hope that was helpful. I hope that that's what you wanted me to talk about, Brooke. Maybe you're just like, that's not at all what I wanted you to talk about. But
no, that was awesome. And your energy is amazing. And your enthusiasm is awesome too. I loved it. I have 3 pages of notes. I'm going to go get on Instagram tomorrow and figure that ish out. No, I really, really like that. I do have a question. Is Google Streak like the same as Teamsy?
So Google Streak, Asana, and Teamsy are all the same. From what I've heard well, I know a lot of people use Asana, but Teamsy, the reason why I don't use it is because it is for Beachbody coaches. It's basically Streak for Beachbody coaches. Like a Beachbody coach created it. But what I've heard is that it's very distracting because you can set goals and it's like, okay, I want to make this amount of money. So it's like talk to this many people, but you're always filling out things and checking things. And I just feel like Google Streak is simple once you figure it out.
Right.
It does cost money. Everybody joins and they're like, oh wait, I have to pay for this. But it's the best. Like if there was any, like I almost like would pay for it over Shakeology. Just kidding. But like I went from hitting Success Club 5 to like hitting Success Club like 20 easily, and it's helped my business. So like it's an investment. I think it's $39 a month. It's an investment, but I mean, you could cut out. I mean, me and Pat, when my boyfriend go out to eat, like we go out not that much, but like we could go out to eat, easily spend $60 or $70. You could just take out one going out or one movie trip or one thing, just a month to be able to afford this because it's going to help your business. So it's up to you. You may not be in a position where it can help you. You can still do everything except for set the reminders. So there is like, and I talk about it in the video, but there is like a thing where you can do like a sort by like, date person was added if you want to do something like that. I just find that the reminders make it so much easier. Like all my coaches that do it, they're like 3 of them that like really have honed in on, they all just went part-time with their jobs. They're body, so that's I'm telling you, it keeps you so organized that everything else you have more time for other things because you aren't just a piece of paper. And like somebody said, I lost so many people when I forgot to follow up. Like that's a lot of the reason why I failed at my business, because I was like, I would check my messages and be like, oh my God, this person literally said, hey, I want to buy Shakeology. And I forgot to check the message. You know what I mean? And that stuff, people still fall through the cracks. And like, but if like one person falls through the crack now, it was like 20 people were falling through the cracks. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that's a great idea for anybody that doesn't have something or is trying pen and paper. I mean, definitely check out something, because no matter what it is, it, helps to have something remind you of who to talk to or whatever. Yeah. No, but again, I mean, I love your energy. I love listening to you talk. I love your strategy and how it's just such a like system that, you have your funnel and you have it so that it works. And so if you are like putting in your 60 invites or whatever that one time, how long do you give people before you do the invite? Or like, you know what I mean? Like how long do you keep them in your conversations until you're like, okay, this isn't going anywhere?
Okay, yeah, it's a question I get a lot. So I always say it's tough with this because you have to go off your own intuition. It depends on, for me, the way I kind of move people around. The cool thing about Streak is like, and I talk about it in my little webinar, is you can put people, like you have the pipelines, but you can put them in stages. And I keep very little stages. I don't put a lot. Like some people have like 75 different stages. But I put like, I either have like, I just met them, I'm talking to them, or they're like waited out. Like they're either not, they're saying no, or they're just, I'm not really talking to them anymore. So I have like a place there. So if anybody I do talk to, I'm like, I'm just not going to have the conversation. Like their contact information still is in there. If I was talking to somebody on a piece of pen and paper and lost their name, there's no way I'm going to remember. But if sometimes, which happens, they message me back and they're like, hey, I'm actually ready to do this, I can just go boop, not in the weighted out category anymore, have all their information, everything we talked about, the emails are connected, everything. I put their Instagram, their email, like I have everything there. But what I do is if I've, okay, let's start from the beginning. So if I've just like just been building a relationship, but I'm not getting any, like they're giving me hearts and thumbs up and like they won't even like give me any like words. I'm just like, okay, I just completely like, if it's been like a week of them not even responding at all, I just keep them in my contact list, but just stop setting reminders to check in with them. I'm just not
Right.
If I've gotten to the point where maybe they're on Facebook and they kind of have conversations with me, but they're in and out, I'll check in. Usually I'll maybe, if I haven't even invited them yet, I'll do like once every and once they're over to Facebook, I really only check in like once a week because they're going to, pop up in different ways. But if they're kind of not that into it, I'll do like once every month or maybe every other month, just kind of depending on how much they give me. I kind of base off of how much conversation we have. If I have somebody who I invited to something and they said yes, but then they started ghosting me, they get a check-in with every month for a while until maybe like sometimes you could look at my messages and I have sent 8 messages and no response.
Right.
But if it's at that point, then I'll remind me to check in with them like 4 or 5 months down the road, which again, I don't lose them. So I have people that just popped up in my thing this month and I was like, dang, I forgot about this girl. And I checked in with her and she was like, dude, I was just about to message you. And I was like, yeah, that's right. So so I didn't check in with her for 5 months because she didn't respond to any of my messages. So I was like, okay, I still feel like she could want to be in this, but maybe I just need to give her a break from checking in. And it gives you that leeway to not worry about losing them, but you can still check in with them. So I'll check in depending on how much of a conversation we have. If they're like, maybe sometimes people have blocked me before. That doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does. They get obviously not removed, but just like moved from my contact list. I actually had a girl that blocked me on Facebook, then added me as a friend, but I didn't realize it because she messaged me wanting samples of Shakeology. And I went to my Google Streak, I searched her name, and it came up in inner notes. It said blocked me on Facebook because I like to know if somebody did that. And she must have unblocked me because I was like, well, why else would I put that in there? She obviously blocked me, but we were friends again, and she messaged me. So I was like,
amazing how they come back around, right?
right? So
no, this has been awesome, and I love how, I've never really, recruiting is obviously not my strong suit, but I've never like looked at people's pages and been like, oh, all they do is post food. Like clearly they're not going to be a coach because they don't want to put their face in stuff. Like that's a great tip. Like looking for your tribe and who's going to be a great coach. That's obviously, a key component.
yeah. And that's the cool thing about that little process about finding contact people through that. And I do Facebook groups, like all of that stuff too. But those are more of like a cold invite, not just straight up cold, because that doesn't work in this business anymore. Just like cold invite to somebody who you never even talked to unless they've liked something. If you could say, oh, hey, I saw you like something, but just straight up cold, this doesn't necessarily work. But even, Alexis Whalen, she spoke on my team call a bit ago about Facebook groups and how she finds people through Facebook groups and just basically does the same thing I do, but on Facebook. And so she'll add people from a Facebook group and message them and say, hey, I saw we were in the Bernese Mountain Dogs of Colorado group. Like, your dog is so cute. I saw him, blah, blah, blah. Like, so she does the same thing and then invites on Facebook. But yeah, that's helpful. And somebody said, is there a trial? There is. It's 3 days. So you do get to test out the reminders. And everybody that does it, they're like, oh my God, I got to have the reminders and then they took it away. Like, oh my gosh, I need this. I'm like, I know, you do need it. It is
smart marketing.
So worth it.
All right. What does anybody else have? If you have a few minutes, Alexis, if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, I always like asking or answering questions if anybody does. There's
awesome.
a lot.
This is your chance, guys.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, first of all, I love listening to you. You're so fun.
Thanks.
I think I also saw you like 20 times while we were in Punta Cana, and I was like, oh my God, I can't even.
When everybody says that, please come up to me. I'm like I'm just a person.
Well, I know, but I also didn't want to bother you. But anyways, okay, so is Instagram similar to Facebook where you have likability and like where your posts are going to be seen in the suggested posts? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, it depends. Like well, for most people, like mine, I'm lucky in the sense that I post these, so like weird explaining it to somebody who doesn't know what it is, but I post these shuffling videos. It's like a kind of dance. So, but it's very in the music festival, like rave category. So I actually got messaged by Instagram and they put me in like the category. Like if you see like bread making or like French Bulldog videos and there's like categories, like I'm in there. So a lot of my stuff always is in the suggested page. So it's hard for me to like know it for other coaches, but Facebook bought Instagram. So it is the same. There is affinity scores. That's why you could log on to Instagram right now and I could see a post at the top of my page that says it was from 4 days ago, but because it has a lot of likes and comments, Facebook and Instagram say, hey, this is probably important to you. I'm going to show it to you. So what you can do, and it depends, I suggest only doing it with people that you know are going to be committed, so make it strict, but you can do Instagram pods. So you can get and keep it 8 people or less. And so you go with a bunch of other coaches and like I'm in a pod with my leaders and there's 8 of us and we just add it to our task list. It takes maybe 5 minutes. It does take a little bit of time, but like 5-10 minutes. And each day you just go in and the list of coaches that you have, you go to their Instagram and we all comment on each other's Instagram. We like it and we comment on it. So we're all getting a minimum like 8 comments. And for some of like, for me, sometimes mine get a lot of comments, but for my coaches, I mean, I have a lot of followers, but some of my coaches, they don't. So to get 8 comments on something, it's going to push your stuff in the suggested feed. So if you want more of a higher affinity score, you can do that. But people can fizzle out and people won't do it. And it's unfair if you're doing it and somebody else isn't. So we made it really strict. We were like, if you're going to do this, you have to do it. Like just put it a part of your tasks. And like, I have a Google Calendar and I have everything put out and whatever. It's like a part of my power hour, if you want to call it that. And I just go, I just keep a list. So I look at the list and I'm like, okay, let me go through Anna's like comment. And you want to make sure you comment something that's more than 3 words, because if not, Instagram sees it as just one of those Instagram bots. Don't use Instagram bots. I was using Instagram and they'll shadow ban you. Shadow banning means that you're blocked from Instagram, but you don't know it. So only you and your followers see your stuff, but nobody else does. You could literally do hashtag, French fries. And like, I could go, if I'm not following you, I could go through the hashtag and your stuff's not going to show. So you get shadow banned by doing things like using bots, using hashtags that like have inappropriate things in them. Like there's a video, I forget the name of her, but if you just search shadow ban on Instagram, you can find out if you're shadow banned, how to find out if you're shadow banned, and whatnot, because you don't want to do that. But the Instagram pods is probably the best way to go, and making sure you're liking anywhere from 200 to 500 pictures.
Okay. And then I have one more question. So I feel like maybe like a year ago, I think you did a call for Lauren once, Majewski, and you talked about doing hashtags in the first comment instead of within your post. Has that changed? Because I heard that can get you like blocked now.
So you can't do both. So you don't do hashtags in your comment or hashtags in your caption and hashtags in your comment. That gets you shadow banned.
So choose one.
Because you're only allowed 30 hashtags per picture. And if you're doing it the other way, Instagram looks at it as you're basically trying to cheat, which is like ridiculous. But Instagram just has to control, Facebook technically just has to control everything. But you just roll with the punches.
Okay.
So,
cool.
but yeah, so I usually just put them in the comments. It just looks aesthetically more pleasing.
Right.
That way. So I just try not to do both.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any questions?
What else? Who else has questions?
I had a question about the shadow banning for the hashtags, especially if you use a particular hashtag for yourself a lot, but it might not be a more widely used hashtag because it's like your team name.
Mm-hmm.
For that, that's not going to get you shadow ban, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that would be something, because it's not because any hashtag that would get you shadow banned is something that has, the only reason Instagram bans a hashtag is if it happens to have inappropriate content. Surprisingly, for some reason, coconut oil has like a bunch of naked girls in it. I don't know why, but so I don't really use it anymore. Because I went through it one time. Well, when I was using Instagram just to like, I never did it for the comments, but I did it for likes, just to like other people's stuff. And like, you can go through pictures that you've liked. So sometimes I'll go through it and I'm looking to see what Instagram's like. And I looked and there's like boobs and everything. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what Instagram, what are you liking? So I looked through each picture and noticed it was like coconut oil. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So yeah, but, something that a lot of people don't realize, and this is another thing where people can get lazy, is that, if you're using the same group of hashtags on all your pictures all the time. So if every time, and I was a victim of this too, so I'm changing mine, but you should be changing your group of hashtags like often, like maybe not weekly, but like at least once or twice a week or once or twice a month. So if you have like, for me, every time I posted a food picture, cause I keep all my hashtags in a notepad section of my phone. So instead of typing hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag this, I just copy and paste the hashtags. But if you've been using the same hashtags over and over again on all your pictures, Instagram will shadow ban you, because it's just like they just want everything to be fresh and new and nobody to be using bots, because that's very of a body thing to do, is just have the same hashtags all the time. So you can use up to 30, but I would just suggest changing them. Whatever your target market is, whatever you deal with, whatever hashtags you're using, just make sure you're changing it up. So it's not a waste.
And so could you even do the thing, sorry, because I do the same thing on my notepad like you're talking about. So if you have like your specific things for like Mondays, your mood, your, music that you post, your, motivation, or like what, and a quote, like whatever you do you have like a set thing of hashtags for those particular posts? And so
yeah, I have groups of hashtags for like at least like 30 different types. I'm doing like core to force or hammer and chisel or a different workout, or working at the gym with my boyfriend, or food, English bulldog. I have PCOS. I deal with anxiety. I have ADHD. Like I have all of these things. So I like have different ones, but I do tend to use a lot of the same ones. So I'm trying to make sure I'm changing it up and change it up with what's going on in the world in terms of like the season of like, I'm using a lot of like summer 2017, I'm getting closer to 30. I mean, I really don't feel like I am, but I'm turning 27 in a few months. So I'm not that close, but I'm getting there. But I'm
and like 30 is nothing. Like
27, come on.
No, I didn't say I was old, but I don't even think old is like, I know freaking 60-year-olds that are so rocking it. But so I use like 30 is the new 20. Like the hashtags I search through are going to be health and fitness more so related, but the hashtags I use are all over the board, because just because somebody's into penguins, I don't know, I don't really like penguins or don't have anything against them, but if like I could, like, let's say I wanted to attract people that were into penguins, I don't know, one of my coaches is a marine biologist, so she uses those kind of things all the time. So you want to search hashtags that are health and fitness related, but use hashtags on your posts that are anything. That is your target market. So I use a bunch of different things too. Anybody else have any questions?
Sorry, I had one more thing about the ghosting.
You're fine.
I noticed, especially like three weeks ago, when it like started like really blowing up, and they started like just putting people in like new Insta jail.
Oh
like,
yeah, I felt like I would mind. I felt no.
That was so jacked up.
But I got like 30 likes, and now it's back to being normal, which is like 2 to 3. It like went to 30, which is like really.
And that's what I was gonna ask. Like, so did you see like where there was like dual hashtags, like where there would be like a dogs hashtag that had like 4,000, and then there was a dogs hashtag that like had 45 million.
Yeah,
like
I didn't notice that, but so what I know you can do if you feel like you've been shadow banned, and you can again just search it, but I stopped using hashtags for like the past 2 weeks, and all of a sudden my engagement has gone up. So sometimes it's like kind of like clearing out. So now I'm not getting any followers, but my engagement is going up. I'm going to go back to using hashtags again, but I just wanted to like refresh it. But ever since I stopped using hashtags, my engagement like literally went from like 30 to 80 likes to now it's like 250 to 300 likes, which is, and it's not about the likes and the look of it. It's that I know people are seeing
it. Yeah. So. Thanks, dude. Thanks a lot.
Of course. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, you killed the shit out of that call, dude.
Oh, Aaron said, does everyone use Instagram for their business? So it's totally up to you. Like Susie said that you're new. You totally want to take on, a lot of coaches join and they hear a call and they all see all these shiny objects. You want to make sure you kind of master something first. You can still have one just so you can at least start building it up and practicing, but don't put all your time and energy into it. Make sure you got Facebook like figured out. And then once you do, then you can take it on as a new project, but remember, you're in this business for the long haul. This isn't going anywhere. So just don't overwhelm yourself and do it in due time. But if you try to take on figuring out Facebook and Instagram and all the other team stuff that you're learning right now as a new coach, you're just going to overwhelm yourself and you're going to be like, screw this. But don't overwhelm yourself.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? That was a lot of awesome information.
I talk really fast so I can get a lot of stuff in there.
I know, but that was, under an hour. I know. And I could listen to you for like 6 more hours.
You probably wouldn't say that.
Anyone else have anything? That was really great, Alexis. Thank you so much for doing that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I'll send you the 2 Google Streak videos if anybody wants to.
That'd be great, so we can just check it out. I know a lot of us are on the Team Z kick because those people came to Super Saturday.
Yeah.
But
fine. I mean, if you can still find a way to as long as there's like a reminder feature, then you can still do the same process. Like
there's a follow-up feature. I mean, you can set a follow-up per se.
Yeah, just make it work. Just do the same process. Just use the follow-up feature. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Different thing.
Awesome. All right, guys. Last chance. Anybody? Nikki's got something else. No, Nikki, you're good? Okay. That was a wave. All right. Thank you so much, Alexis. Have a great week, everybody.
Of course. See you guys.
Bye.